Hi, it's Keenan Wagner, still March 8th here. And for those of us that are just tuning in now, basically I filed a complaint at work for some actions occurring in December and January of this year. I did make over $115,000 last year. Now, mind you, this is the same company that would not pay me $20 an hour just 3 years ago, and they had 3 employees and were making $30,000 a month as a company when I started. I did share much information with them for my own, self-interest to make more money and to help them out. My fear with them was always because they have shown a pattern where they like to get rid of people and blame them for all the company's problems. And I've noticed that, repeatedly they would say, oh, well, that their fault is the reason that this is bad or that is bad, for every single thing. I've never seen anything like it where a company just so blatantly blames employees for their misaction. I mean, I could not believe it at first, but that is what it is. And I started getting the feeling that, they were coming for me. And by they, I do mean the manager and owner. And by coming for me, I do mean attempting to get me to quit through bullying, intimidation, and gaslighting, by any means necessary. And unfortunately for me, I believe I was correct. They did start trying to get rid of me any way they could, lying, writing me up for things that didn't occur. And I started recording everything. I have so much evidence, but not too long after that, I told, fast forward to March 8th is the day that my child's mother accused me of punching a wall. Now, punching a wall is criminal mischief. I don't even believe it's a misdemeanor. If it's a certain dollar amount, I can probably get up to misdemeanor. That's not the point. The point is, after that, the state has accused me of being a child abuser, a woman abuser, yada, yada. And it's funny because they didn't say any of that until I said that the state has inflicted the most trauma of anybody in this. I mean, they slammed me down in front of my 5-year-old, and my 5-year-old's been without a father for 30 days, sanctioned by the state. I mean, nobody wants to look at it from his vantage point, the child, and that's the issue. And we have a broken country and system, and the only thing we care about is winning, and I know this, as I always win. As I literally win every single thing that I try to win. Every one. Every single thing. There's not a thing that I will play that I will not win. I will learn how to be better at it today, and tomorrow I will win. I win. Winning is the thing inside of me. I win. I do. I win. I'm a winner. I just am. The only time I've ever not won is when I was very, very strung out on drugs. And even then, in many ways, I won. And I say that because I had to go into prison for a while. I had to go back a few times. But it allowed me to realize that everything occurring was my own fault. And it also allowed me to make a promise to myself. I can go back to prison, but it won't be for drugs. It would need to be something more serious than that. So why do I have a couple idiots from my former employer having me charged with harassment for contacting them while they have stolen over $6,000 from me? But sure, it was never about getting a reaction, right? You guys still press charges, even though all I did was call you and tell you I needed my $6,000 that I earned. Now I will file this lawsuit. My son has been without a father for 30 days. So the equivalent you can pay me is this entire system that is unjust and oppressive will need to be redone. So that's the amount of damage you've caused me now, John McGuire. But what I'm going to do is make a better world for you and everybody. Because I'm not a dirtbag like you. Because didn't this start as, it's not fair, Keenan makes so much money? Is that how it started? Well, I earned every dollar, and I know John thinks so highly of himself, but I can promise you, John couldn't do it. I mean, you can't even manage anybody to do it, John. Oh, is Will at it now? I bet he is. You need somebody at that now, don't you? So you can pretend that you did something. The only problem is, John, I didn't share all my information with you. And I even tried to tell you guys that you were discriminating and breaking the law, but Joe, the owner, wanted to stop. Why didn't you want to stop, John? Are you so smart that you know something that even Joe doesn't know? Because I tried to tell you idiots back then that you were violating my civil rights. Now you no longer have an out. I no longer am going to help you. That's all it was about, was I was trying to help you previously, and I didn't want to file a complaint. But after saying something verbally 3 or 4 times, I had to. And now I've said something verbally 8 or 9,000 times about the oppressive country and government we seemingly have. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the state will come in, help me get the unemployment that my employer illegally denied. They illegally fired me for no reason, no fault of my own. They're trying to make up reasons now and don't want to pay the unemployment. So basically, you can see how an individual like myself may take that as, fuck you, you have no rights. Because it sure seems that way. Now, I don't even need to get into what happened with my personal life and all that, because it doesn't matter. What matters is no matter how much stuff happens in my personal life, even if I die or go to prison, as you guys seem to really be hoping for, you're still going to owe that money. And I don't quite care if you pay it or not. It's not about the money. It's about accountability. And you will be held to account, John McGuire. And if John McGuire can't even admit he was wrong, how do we expect the leaders in the government to admit that not they were wrong, that somebody was wrong at some point? See, it doesn't need to be you were wrong right now, but were we ever wrong? Was slavery okay? How are our rights God granted, but women didn't have them? How are our rights God given, but black people did not have them? All men are created equally. Now, I would take that to mean all human beings are created equally. Is there a different meaning for that? There's not. We're all created equally. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm actually very happy that that's the case, and I've never thought about it before. But what I do know, as well as there are many of us that do not feel that human beings are equal, whether that's feeling that ourself is not equal to a human being, the next person, or we think that somebody is subhuman because of their beliefs. Now, what I'm saying unequivocally is that that is false. It does not matter what somebody's beliefs are, or their thoughts, or their skin tone, or gender, or anything else. What matters is that they are a human being. Even if somebody is handicapped and can't speak, can't read, can't barely walk, they still deserve human rights. They still deserve humanity. They still deserve love. They still deserve a place to sleep. They still deserve food. Yeah, I know. But it's weird because before these 20 corporations took over the entire planet, I feel like maybe there was a couple apple trees outside. Maybe not. I could be making that up. I know. Planting an apple tree is illegal. Doing whatever you want to an employee, you're good. They're just the second-class citizens. They're just the employees. They're nothing. Even if you're somebody like me who completely made this little hole-in-the-wall company, you are still nothing but a piece of shit employee. And I know that. I've always known that. That's why I try to tell the work bully that anything they do to me, they will do to you. And I didn't just mean the workplace. I meant the workplace, the government, anybody with a position of power. That's who they is. You can tell exactly who a man is if they have any power. How do they treat people if they have power? That's how you determine a man.